All right, that worked. We had to do a little ghetto version.
Yeah. All good.
Of the controls. All right.
What's up, brother?
So we're back.
Yeah.
What have we done? 6 episodes? 7 episodes?
Something like that, yeah.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
Still young. A lot happened. A lot has happened. And, after 2 weeks, again, it's like, man, there's a lot to talk about. There always is.
Lot to talk about.
But, number one, John Cena is retiring. He announced the retirement. He's got a whole thing planned.
Dude.
And it'll be interesting.
I feel like there's so much they could do, right? Yeah. But the number... I feel like not the number one, but like the big things that I feel like most people are hoping they try to do is like one more match with Orton.
Yeah.
One more match with Punk.
Yep. That's what
and maybe one more world championship. Because if he's tied with Flair for the record right now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think I would like to see Punk. I'd like to see Cody.
Oh, Cody would be cool. Cody would be cool.
I wouldn't mind seeing McIntyre either.
That'd be cool too. I think he's going to have one of the... If everything goes perfectly for him,
yeah,
it's going to be one of the greatest runs ever. Think about it this way. Do you remember when he won the U.S. title back in like whatever it was, 2015 or 16 or whatever?
Yeah.
And everyone was like, what is Cena doing with this title? He's been the only guy, him and Orton going, we're world champion, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
Or like Lesnar or whatever, you know what I mean?
And then he completely said,
he went, nope, this is the workhorse title. I'm going to defend it every week for like a year. And it's one of the craziest
open challenge thing.
His U.S. title open challenge is one of the coolest runs like anybody's ever had. Yeah. It was so incredible. So I look at it like that. Like, I don't know how much he's going to be doing. But even if he only gives us like 12 pay-per-views and he retires, even if it's just that, right?
Yeah.
One match a month for 12 months could be so legendary.
It's like optimally you want like WrestleMania to be his last thing, but I don't think he's going to do that.
It doesn't sound...
He's just going to do like a straight schedule that he has.
In the post-event press conference after his announcement, he clarified a bit. Yeah. Because he kind of said, like, the Royal Rumble 2025 will be my last Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 25 will be, or
I think he wants
2025
to work,
will be my last
basically the full schedule.
I think he's working the whole year, and he's going to retire somewhere later in the year.
I'm wondering how frequent he's going to appear on, like, main shows.
I guess we'll see, man, yeah. He's probably trying to get in the best shape he can possibly get in right now, unless he's filming something. But there's just no chance if he's giving it his all for one more run that he's not going to show up. He's going to show up in God tier shape only.
I don't believe I think he would make sure that his schedule is clear for this.
That's what I mean. He probably cleared everything and is hitting the gym and diet and everything so hard going, if there's one more run, I have to make this legendary.
He doesn't look that much smaller than he does look smaller.
Sure. But then he takes his shirt off and you're like, he's still jacked up.
Yeah, it's like he's just going to bulk up a little bit and he's
That's
fine.
it, yeah.
Throw get a couple BK cheeseburgers or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what he'll eat. Cena. It sounds like this
calorie
diet,
thing. You're just loading calories.
All seriousness though, man, what a career. What a career.
Oh yeah.
He's a guy that, love him or hate him, is really, really tough to argue.
There's a lot less hate him now.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
His career has just been too crazy to really even try to argue that he's a Mount Rushmore wrestler ever. Like, he's a legit, real Mount Rushmore guy.
Isn't he one behind Flair, or is he tied with Flair?
I believe he's tied right now.
That's what
I'd have to look it up.
I think he's 16,
either 15 or 16, tied with
Flair. They're both
Flair.
16 then.
They're both 16, yeah. At least officially.
That's the thing.
A lot of people try to say Flair has like 27 or some trash, but it's like, who cares? Promotions that weren't recognized during the territories and shit. It's like, no. How many NWA world titles did he have? And then how many in WCW? And then how many in WWE?
As a Packers fan, I want to say that world titles count because they did win world titles before the NFL.
That's what I'm talking about, though. It's not only WWE.
Yeah.
It's like NWA world title.
Yeah, that's
like the world title.
They're world titles, but it's like with Green Bay, they didn't like before the merger. There was no Super Bowl era, so they won world titles.
They won world titles, but it was before the Super Bowl, and that counts. And I'm saying that counts for Flair.
It's a tough argument.
16. As far as I understand it, the way WWE recognizes is NWA World Championship and then WCW World Titles and then WWE. And that's all they recognize as far as I know.
Well, they acquire. Do they own WCW?
Yes. Yeah.
So it's just the stuff that they own. They own NWA, don't they?
I don't think so, but they still recognize it because it was the world title before WWE broke off.
Okay, right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And he was the world champion for a bunch of that.
Sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could see Cena, it's like I could see him break the record.
I could see him break the record, and I think he deserves to at this point.
I think if you have,
run, bro.
I mean, like if they're going to have somebody break it.
If it's anybody.
If
it's anybody. Are you kidding me? There's only him and Orton that would really deserve it. Yeah. Because the longevity of the run, the quality of the run.
Orton's never going to see that level of prestige, though. Like, he's going to be more of a wrestling fan's wrestler.
He's like the wrestler's wrestler.
Yeah, like, it's not... He didn't have, like, the mainstream appeal that
he wasn't the literal face of the industry for over a decade, the way Cena was.
There was, like, a recent, like... something I read, like an article or something that was talking about how, like, they asked, like, wrestling fans who, like, certain people, like, if they could name a wrestler, or just they asked a bunch of people if they could name a wrestler, not wrestling fans, just people. Most people said Hulk Hogan,
of course,
and then I think John Cena and The Rock were the other two that were like in there, and then that's really it.
And that's your Mount Rushmore guys. Like, really, whether anybody likes it or not.
Yeah.
It's tough to argue.
Yeah.
Who are the biggest guys representing the industry?
Stone Cold is pretty household too,
he's the other Mount Rushmore to me.
Ric Flair was, I think. A lot of people knew who Flair was.
Yeah. Flair, it depends on age, though.
Randy Savage was big because of his character. I think a lot of people knew who he was.
And that's fair too. Undertaker's very fair.
Oh, Undertaker.
You know what I mean? But really, to me, guys that you walk up to guys that have never watched wrestling one time and they don't give a shit about wrestling and they're like 20 years old. And you go, who are the 4 wrestlers you can name off the top of your head? They're probably going to go Hogan, Cena, Rock, Austin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would think so.
And there's like numbers and statistics behind why those guys are like the Mount Rushmore guys, you know? And Cena has to be in that. He just is. You can't be the face of an entire industry for a full decade. Literally the face of a full industry for a decade. Part of it too is not be on the Mount Rushmore.
They were movie stars too, you know what I mean? So like
all 4 of those guys were in movies in some way.
It makes you a household name.
Then there's guys like Batista, who's arguably the best actor to ever come out of wrestling as far as ability to act and the quality and scale of the roles he's gotten. But and had an incredible career.
But there's also
world champion, Hall of Famer and stuff.
There's probably a bunch of people who don't know that Batista was a wrestler either.
Because they found out who he was because of Drax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And like Austin, people everywhere know who he is because he was a wrestler, not because of movies.
Sure.
He's been in movies, but they know him because Austin 316 says, I just whipped your ass and shit. You know what I mean? And they know him now because of his cats, Pancho and Macho, that he just posts about on social media.
Well, also he had like the Broken Skull Ranch and like TV shows.
TV
and
show,
shit, so
which was successful.
that was
Broken Skull Challenge.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was on like main TV. It was on like TV
CMT or something like that.
Yeah, it was on one of those.
Either way, a major network.
Yeah.
Well,
pretty major.
I think the majors are like Fox and NBC and shit, but still a big cable company. You know.
Yeah. It's like, you know, like household name. It's Orton isn't that. You know what I'm saying? He's
pretty close though.
I think a lot of casuals.
CM Punk is pretty well known.
He's up there
and has crossover because of UFC and stuff.
I could say I would almost argue that Punk would be more. Well, you know what? That's close.
To me, it's a tie between Punk and Orton for Cena's greatest rivals that were at that stage with him. Yeah. Like Cena really had two guys that just were the biggest, most box office rivals of his career, and it's Punk and Orton.
Yeah, I'm just trying to.
At least that's my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so. Punk like got huge from the pipe bomb. The pipe bomb was the big thing.
He was already like the wrestler's underground wrestler. He was like the guy everybody wanted to see get a shot.
That
blew him wide open.
Like, whoa!
And then the feud with Cena, where he beat him for the title in Boston or Chicago. Duh. He beat him for the title in Chicago and was in the crowd and shit. Yeah. That's one of the greatest moments ever.
They were already locking into it.
And he's going to events with this title and shit. Dude, I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
So good.
So that's I don't know. I'm excited to see like what they do with it.
I can't wait to see what he does.
And they'll probably just like
man, I hope he wrestles Orton and Punk one more time each.
Yeah,
I really do.
Oh, I think Orton is a guarantee, like 100%.
I hope so.
You can't really. I don't think you could not.
I would love to see his final run be all about his legacy and all about respect.
You could have The Rock
having him have these one more time matches that are not bad guy, good guy. There's no it's the one time where you can really get away and it is the story and there's actually weight to it. Because a lot of people want story to be we're just two good wrestlers and so people want to see us wrestle, but that's not really a story. With Cena, it's so much more than that. It's not about who's bad or good. There's 20 years of history with this guy, and we're going to go one more time just to give the fans one more.
So it's like they've had
there's so much
Cena
more weight
and The Rock
to it.
had the two matches, but
they did.
You almost could just do it again, have a trilogy.
You could.
But
would Rock be into it?
That's the thing but The Rock is around now, and he said he's going to come back,
and he looked amazing at Mania.
Yeah, and he's still got like the overhanging thing with Cody that he's got to come back.
Sure, he wants to come back for Cody. He wants to come back for the Roman match, and he should for both.
Right.
But if he has to do those later to get, and not even later, he could still do Roman, like him versus Roman at Mania or something. I don't think he will this year because I think what's going to happen more so is I think they're building for Roman and the Usos versus like Civil War, Bloodline Civil War. Yeah. I feel it going that way. We'll see. You know what I mean? But at some point, you got to do Rock Roman. You got to do Rock Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Rock is probably really down to do Rock Cody now because look at how that went.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
Cody was so big and Rock, so over that the whole WWE fan base went, nah, brother.
Right. And The Rock straight up developed a new gimmick, like another gimmick, basically.
Props to The Rock for being about what he says. He used to always say, it is only about the fans. It is only about the fans.
Yeah.
And you have to listen to him. And he came in and admittedly was like, it's time to do me versus Roman. This will be the biggest thing. The second the fans went, it's Cody only.
Yeah.
He just went, We got to listen to the fans. We got to listen, and we're going this way. And let's start coming up with stuff. And what they ended up with was so incredible.
And he could have just as easily
one of the best manias ever. Because
he could have so easily reverted to like
he's on the board. He could have went.
Well, yeah,
it's me and Roman. Bye.
Well, what
maybe
I'm saying
next
is,
year, Haas.
I think if he was gonna go heel, right?
Yeah.
He could have just gone back to regular heel Rock.
Yep.
But
instead,
he
did the final boss.
He said, "Yeah, this is a different character,"
and it was incredible.
Yeah, and he definitely killed it.
Yeah.
He definitely killed it.
It's undeniable.
It literally that alone.
And the match at night 1,
yeah,
was unbelievable.
But him, like, I remember a couple weeks before Mania, it was like a month before Mania, there was just a Raw that just like went off, and it was the one where The Rock throws, like, he drops the F-bomb and shit, and he's throwing Cody into the truck and shit.
That was one of the best Raws ever.
It's just that one,
Straight
I think,
up
blew up that was when we started this.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
That was
when
probably
he says,
a reason.
Don't fuck with the final boss.
Which it probably is a reason we started this.
Probably because we were like, dude, we got to get on this now.
Yeah.
Shit is popping off at a level it hasn't popped off at since the Attitude Era.
It's like, if you think about it, you almost credit The Rock with starting this.
Yeah, dude. And Cody.
It's all a chain reaction.
Yeah. And Cody. And so I definitely would love to see if you still do Bloodline Civil War at Mania, you got to have Cena at Mania, and who does he face? You know, you got to do Punk or Orton, man. It's too big.
Yeah.
And you can do a guy like Orton. Once Roman's back, Orton doesn't have to be feuding with the Bloodline anymore. You have him step out and go, Cena, you're doing a farewell tour. We got to do one more.
I want to see him also do, like,
how big that would be.
I don't want it to all be fucking guys that are already like over. You know what I'm saying?
He could make somebody on the way up too.
I want LA Knight. I want LA Knight.
I would love to see Cena.
That would be
LA
awesome.
I would love to see that.
Because LA Knight needs like the big, because like he's in a thing with Logan Paul, but Logan Paul's off screen a lot. Like he's a part timer.
So LA Knight just did a half-hour show on Cody's bus. Cody's been doing these interviews sponsored by that Wheatley vodka or whatever that he's like sponsored by right now. And he does it right on his tour bus. He did one with Bailey that was really good. He just did one with LA Knight. That one was amazing.
Does he have a YouTube channel, or is it on there?
It's on the WWE channel.
Oh, okay.
Right on their main YouTube.
Oh, no.
In that, Cody says, and it's Cody saying this. He's like, you feel it too, I'm sure, but like, there's this new, like, golden circle of guys that are like the guys carrying the industry right now, at least in WWE, that are like your Orton and your Owens and your Sami Zayn, and of course Cody, he's the world champion. Your Rollins, your Punk, your Drew. There's like so many dudes. There's never been this many guys that you can go, you're a top guy.
Mm-hmm.
Priest has been on fire since he's got the world title, man. We can get into that later. Him and Gunther, that was like some of Priest's best work. Yeah,
it was
incredible. But the point is, you just have so many guys ready to go, oh, it's my turn to be the world champion. I got to be a world champion, do the whole schedule and everything, ready and waiting, and box office.
Yeah.
And LA Knight's one of those guys. And Cody brings it up and says, I'm telling you, you're one of those guys.
No, he has so much charisma. Like
Cody's saying it.
Yeah.
The flagship champ of the company, who's selling merch and shit.
He's right.
Is going, I'm telling you, you're in that circle, but do you feel like you're in that circle? And he said, I don't yet. And which Cody was like, interesting, because the top 5 merch sellers are routinely Cody and LA Knight. And then other guys in the mix as well, and their positions are all over the place. But LA Knight is one of the highest merch sellers in the whole company.
I understand why he thinks that, though, and that's, like I said,
I get it, he hasn't won the big one.
Well, it's not.
How do you say you're in the top? You know what I mean?
He's not in a. Well, he needs to be in a feud with someone other than Logan Paul.
That's right. Yeah.
I think because like Logan, this thing needs to.
He's going to win the U.S. title and go on a run that's going to solidify.
That's what needs to happen.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes.
Yeah, he needs to go on a run with that, and just so that he gets TV time, because he's not getting the time now, because I feel like it's because he's in this thing with Logan Paul, and Logan's not there
and Logan's
to move
not there and they try. They've tried and they've had success.
They've done vignettes,
like,
out of arena type of stuff.
But they need to put a belt on LA Knight and let him carry it for a while and show everybody he already has. He doesn't have anything left to prove.
He just doesn't.
He just needs to get accolades.
He's so over with everybody. He doesn't have any problem. His brain can shut off when he's in the ring and talking on the microphone. He just it comes out. It's so natural.
Highest quality stuff.
Yeah, it's so natural. And it oh my god, dude, I can't help but think of The Rock and Austin fused the way he
and when he first started blowing up, he was getting heat. People were like, "This guy's just a Rock and Austin copy." Is he? Why is he red hot still?
Exactly.
And it never died. Yeah. And he's just a top guy now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just does just such a good job all the time. I've never been not entertained by that guy.
No, ever since I saw him, I was
there's not a time. Yeah,
man.
He's never been on screen. I'm like, oh fuck this.
He's one of my favorite guys right now, and he super deserves it. He's been in the business forever. Same with Damian Priest. He super deserves it. He's been in the business forever, and he's finally got it, you know?
Well, let's so they had so let's talk about Priest, the match with Damian Priest. So Rollins has the pin, right?
Yes.
And Priest doesn't kick out of it.
Yep.
And
people try to say that it's Priest being shitty, and it's very obviously an audio cue miss.
Yes.
And that's confirmed now. It was an audio
I think that might have been what it was supposed to be, was the audio was still, though, the entrance music isn't supposed to stop the count. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it was still, the ref was supposed to hear the music and go, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And so that was just
have they
the
said
bottom line.
What that is? Because that was like a fan theory. I don't know if they
everything I've seen online
says that
points to insider info saying it was mistiming. It happened other times in the show too. A miscue on audio things.
Because what could you do here as the ref, right? You can't just go with it and say no,
because
Rollins
you can't
has the belt. Because Rollins wins it, and now it's not a triple threat match.
If Rollins wins it, there is no triple threat. He just won. Now it's just Drew versus Seth, and it's all fucked up.
So now either one of them has to.
So he had to do that
to
continue to keep Priest's reign. But it's a learning thing, too, because it's like, hey, he should have just kicked out no matter what.
Yeah.
And whoever produced that match, whoever was the producer in it,
you're kicking out of this
should have said, kick out no matter what.
Yeah.
And then his music hits, who cares? But you are not laying down for a 3 count.
I agree.
Period.
Yeah, he should.
It doesn't make any sense.
He should have.
And it's obvious that Priest did that because he was told, "This is the finish.
Right.
You're going to do this, and that's it." And he goes, "Okay, let's handle it." You know, he's been so game to just do whatever.
Well, that whole thing in general was weird.
Yeah,
because then you have McIntyre cash in, right? Yeah. So Punk comes out again.
Yeah.
And fucks him again.
Which I loved.
Which was
but
wild.
Also fucks over Seth. Which I also love.
Yeah, it does. It also kind of was weird. People didn't like that. It kind of, the Money in the Bank only lasted like a day.
I love it.
But I do like it because now all the focus is on the other Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah, the
Tiffany Stratton.
Yep.
Which is nice.
And on top of that, they've made adjustments though. It moves story along and it's different. It's not just, oh, guys, Money in the Bank, let's see him cash in. They did something that's meaningful with it to the story.
Yeah.
You know? And Drew went out and he said before, looking right in the camera, I am winning Money in the Bank and then I am cashing in on those 2 sacks of shit the same night and I'm walking out of there champion.
Yeah,
and that's exactly what he tried to do.
What confused now, from what I read too, is this is only the second time that cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase has made a match a triple threat match.
Yeah,
the other time being Rollins,
which it does automatically do. Yes,
it would have
other
been
time Rollins
at cashing in on Lesnar
and Reigns for the big. That was his made his career.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, you know, as a Money in the Bank guy, you would think your best strategy is to wait until the match is over.
Right. But it is what it is. Like I said,
it should have been
finish
over.
that was a weird way to go. And I'm not going to sit here and go,
really confused.
It was good and just about, no, it was weird. It was a weird one.
And there wasn't anything like, because sometimes they can like justify it and be like, oh, well, actually his shoulder was up or whatever. If you watch but there was no way to like,
no, the ref just decided I'm not counting.
I'm done counting. Yeah.
And Seth did the right thing though, by going to the ref and going, what? What the fuck?
Yeah.
3, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then the music
He had to go with that.
And it's like,
he's a veteran too, though.
It
he knows
almost makes
to go
you wonder if they wanted you to think the refs were in on it for some reason, but I doubt it. That's that's reaching to apologize for it. I will not do that.
Priest should have kicked out.
Priest should have just whoever decided he doesn't kick out.
Yeah,
no, he's got to learn to go with his instincts on that and go. That doesn't make sense, Seth. I am just gonna kick out.
It's like I think, you got to just use your, you know, like it's just like when Rollins, you know, has to, you know, be confused about it.
Yeah,
you have to act on your toes.
And he did the right thing. He did the right thing by going, what?
Yeah, it just makes way more sense for him to kick out anyway.
And they made chicken salad out of chicken shit.
It is
doing what they did with Punk.
And
but yes,
yeah, and it's like people understand. The people that are watching now, it's like way more like inside baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
people are like,
you can come out and say, it was a miscue on the audio, and people will go, shit, fucked her. Okay,
they could, or Priest could say, I was supposed to kick out. Or whatever.
Or
who cares?
I was supposed to lay that. Yeah, he could come out and just say the inside baseball stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
This is what happened. It is what it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because it's not going to be a big deal.
And
people are going to forget about it.
Again, post-event press conference, Triple H talked about it.
Yeah, he did.
And addressed it and was like, yeah, dude, it sucks because Priest has been on fire. He's having the run of his whole career. And he's proving night in and night out he deserves to be a world champion. He deserves to be carrying his brand. I forget what
he said. He said something about
and all anybody's going to remember is this one thing.
He said if it was me that did that, he's like, I would be thinking about it a lot, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And he's like, I'm sure Priest is all he's going to think about now.
Right.
You know?
Right. It's just a thing that...
And then what did Priest do to redeem himself? He came out on Raw and he did that face-to-face with Gunther. And cut one of the best promos he's cut yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And then had a wicked good match with Braun Strowman after.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
I think Gunther sounded really good on that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That was good stuff.
It was pretty savage. Yeah.
That was good stuff.
I love this, like, they're blurring the lines a lot more. It's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that had to be tough for Priest, man.
Because he
legit
came
from
punches.
the streets and was just
right.
Just came from nothing.
And
on
Gunther's
the streets.
playing this whole like.
And Gunther's going, interesting. You're street trash.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's great the way he's playing it, and it does make a lot of sense, and it makes that rivalry there
matter.
It makes it exact. Yeah, it gives
Summers,
it a perfect.
Dude.
Gives it a track to go.
SummerSlam's gonna be wild, bro.
Yeah,
super wild. I can't wait for that.
We talked about Stratton already. She's got the Money in the Bank.
Now
that ladder match wasn't bad. Yeah, it was actually a pretty good match. But there's a couple weird spots that you could see probably maybe 2 or 3 spots that you were like, oh shit.
There was like a couple minutes in the middle of the match where it seemed like they were trying to do cool stuff, and then when they landed, it just kind of didn't look quite right.
Yeah,
and they did the exact perfect thing because look, shit happens in the ring. No one's expecting that every single move everybody does.
Sure.
Is going to come off looking exact perfect, and there's never going to be a botch, of course. But they did the right thing, and they just went, move on. Let's go to the next spot. You know, just keep it going. No sell it. Just go.
Yeah.
You know, sell like you're hurt. Move on to the next spot. But dude, Chelsea Green in that match was incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
They were all really good.
That match was great, and they all were great in that match. The fucking what is that called? It's like a Thunder Driver or some shit that Io Sky and what's her face did.
Okay, yeah, I do.
On the ladder.
Yeah.
Ah, man,
Dude,
I can't remember her name. That's a bummer. She's so good too.
To the fact that Chelsea took that bump right off the ladder.
That was crazy.
That was pretty wild.
That was crazy. Yeah,
that stuff is so. That's just.
Can you imagine taking it that way?
Well,
that's so high up, and she takes it back, trust fall.
Yeah,
pure trust fall out of the ring and goes, "Hope I land on the tables."
Yeah.
That's so scary.
Well, that's the thing is, like, the ladder in the ring is already pretty.
It's already so high up, dude. Yeah, that's crazy.
But you don't see that stuff from women's like ladder matches usually. You know,
I would disagree.
I disagree. It's not commonplace.
Nowadays, when they do gimmick matches, the past I would say probably the past 2 years, the gimmick matches, the girls have been going, "Fuck the guys.
Sure,
we're gonna go way harder."
The last probably 5 years or so, you'd see it more,
yeah, but not. I would say the past, like this past year, like 2024 and 2023, every single women's like gimmick match, like women's Money in the Bank, women's War Games and stuff, was insane. Dude. Women's War Games was insane this past year.
That's the thing is they're playing the gimmick matches better.
Yeah,
They never. I don't know. I just never felt like that before.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, there was even when the women's revolution started, and you had like the 4 horsewomen.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like they had gimmick matches, but it didn't feel like they utilized them the way.
I mean, dude, it was like the first women's cage match and first women's Hell in the Cell matches were happening, and they were just going, "Can we even do it?" You know? And now they're like, "Can we do it, dude?" The match that Becky had with Trish was insane, dude. The Trish's last match before she left, it was like a cage match or whatever, dude. That was so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, I forgot all about that.
That might be the best run of Trish's career, her feud with Becky, where she was just saying, "Thank you, Trish," and "You're welcome" and shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it could.
And that girl,
up there.
I can't remember her name for some reason. She's wicked good.
Well, it's because she's coming back in a different era, in a different the wrestling's more free, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't like that when she was around. But when she was around, she was doing fucking bra and panties matches and shit. So
yeah, you couldn't help but feel bad for her. But yeah, anyways.
Rhea's back, so that's
Rhea's back. That's huge. Yep.
That is so that storyline has been taken up like all of Raw.
It's been so good.
Yeah.
They did 4 segments or 5 segments.
Dude, after every match they would go right to it.
Yeah.
It was great.
I love it. And it's all been good, dude. When Dom comes in and says the shit about like, I'm going to show Jay, like, you're still my mommy and you belong to me or whatever. And then she leaves. He's like, I didn't mean it like that.
Yeah.
And then Carlito's like,
dude,
not cool, man. Yeah, Carlito, dude. Even when Carlito's just sitting there looking like a toddler, like he's literally just standing there like, eating an apple, watching them play the game.
I like how they're always playing 2K.
Yeah, and Rhea and Priest are talking and like hug or whatever, and she's like, "Can I ask you a question? What the hell is Carlito doing here?" And Priest pops and is like, "Ha! Wait till I tell you about this fucking guy." It's like, dude, Carlito came out of nowhere and is one of the funniest.
Yeah, because I didn't even think about how Carlito like slipped in at that time.
Yeah, you don't even realize, like, oh yeah, he's full blast in there now, and he's hilarious.
It's funny because like the playing the games and shit, it makes it feel like they're like in a clubhouse.
It's so good, dude. It's so good.
And they're just so like hanging out. But like none of them have matches really, so like
but
like
they do.
Balor and shit.
Balor and
but
JD
like
McDonough just won the titles.
It's like weeks that they don't have matches, they're just there to play fucking 2K.
Dude, and here like
fucking...
they're just hanging out. I saw something cool recently that was a breakdown somebody posted, and it was like exactly what I was thinking. Is like, I love Rhea Ripley. She's one of my favorite women's wrestlers ever. I think she's one of the best ever. You could argue she might be the best ever by the time it's done because of how much like her matches are good. Her body of work is incredible now, but also her character work, her storylines, how big and how main of the main part of the show they are, and like her box office appeal.
And she grew fast. Yeah,
she's one of the biggest ever. Yeah. You know what I mean? But in this storyline,
she got like all the.
She is kind of the bad guy, and it's weird
Yeah.
It's what do you think about that? Because she fucked over Liv. They were best friends, and she fucked her over and smashed her arm in a chair and screw jobbed her.
Yeah.
And Liv went away. And then Liv is on a revenge tour to take everything from Rhea because Rhea took everything from her first.
Yeah.
And she's literally trying to fuck over Rhea because Rhea deserved it.
But it's not.
She earned getting fucked over.
So
but Rhea's the good guy somehow.
Down the line, Rhea is the good guy. Yeah,
right?
That's the way it is.
She is the good guy.
Yeah.
But she deserves to get fucked over for what she did to Liv.
Yeah, because
so it's weird. It's
it's the way the storyline's going right now.
Yeah.
The most recent thing is she's getting fucked over. So
yep. But the reality is they're going with long-term storytelling where it's like, hey, this person is not exempt of consequences from their actions. And she's gonna have this girl come after her. And this girl is justified in coming after her. Liv is justified.
Yeah. Of course.
And Liv's doing the best work of her career right now. It's not even close.
Yep. And now, so I posted a thing like on our story on Instagram. Yeah. It was Balor. This was like back in like, I don't know.
Yeah.
18 or something.
Yeah.
Like forever ago.
Multiple years ago. Before he was even in the Judgment Day.
Yeah, it was like barely. It was like a weird segment where Balor had mentioned to Liv Morgan, like that they were trying to take down Judgment Day or something.
And we're gonna have to do like whatever it takes or whatever.
Yeah, and it was very weird because like I'm wondering like, what if Triple H was thinking about that in the back of his head?
He cares about long-term storytelling.
Yeah, and now Balor, I think that they're kind of teasing the Balor's gonna betray them thing.
They are.
You know.
I also love the dynamic of like Priest is setting Dom up to get embarrassed and get his ass whipped and pay the price because he thinks what he's been doing running around with Liv is dirty.
Yeah.
And he sees him as like a little brother. So he's just geeking at him. And I love that.
Priest is like letting him do whatever because he's
going, all right, brother.
Dig your own grave kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Know? And then he's being like, he's going, yo, wait, hold up. You're going to let Jay talk about mommy like that?
Yeah.
And then when he walks away, he's just like, because he knows he's going, brother's going to learn the lesson.
Yeah.
And I'll be there for him after. I'll give him a hug and be like, how you feel, big dog?
Yeah.
But you're going to lose.
Yeah.
You're going to lose.
I like that they kind of just threw Jay in there because he has been kind of floating.
He's constantly hitting on Rhea.
Yeah.
So he's the perfect guy.
Jay's been in a weird spot.
Kind of.
Since Mania, I think.
He's box office. He's selling tons of merch.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys in that circle.
But he hasn't had like a clean cut feud with anything.
No, I think they're kind of having him bounce around because they're waiting for Roman to come back. Whenever Roman's ready, and Jimmy, because Jimmy's been off TV since Solo turned on him.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing him and Roman have other stuff going on they're dealing with in real life, like outside of the ring. And as soon as they're ready to come back, they're going to pull the trigger on the OG bloodline coming back probably with Heyman.
Yeah, I'm just interested in the way they do it. That's all. How they.
It's going to probably be at SummerSlam.
It's really cool that they wrote Heyman off with that fucking bump, and then.
Can you imagine
when he comes back?
Can you imagine
you're just
going
to
hear SummerSlam,
ladies and gentlemen, and fucking everybody's going to go.
Can you imagine at SummerSlam, Cody versus Solo is kind of like what's happening at SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, I would say so.
It seems like that's the move. Cody versus Solo at SummerSlam with the new bloodline getting involved.
Or maybe you could just have, well, I don't know. It might not be one-on-one. What you'll probably have is you could have Orton and.
But they just did that.
I know, but you could have it be that.
I mean, you could do it again, but the move really is you have the new bloodline.
Yeah.
You have Solo versus Cody for the title. You have
the bloodline's going to fuck him over.
And Tama Tonga get involved.
Yeah.
And when they get involved, you have Orton and maybe Owens.
Kevin Owens.
Maybe Owens. He's home right now with his family because of his mom.
But it feels like you're just
get involved, right? Well, this is how they've been doing it. It's like it's callbacks, right? Because then you have what's his name? The new guy. Jacob Fatu.
Fatu, yeah.
You have Fatu get involved, and then you hear, ladies and gentlemen, or you just hear, of the fucking like Roman's music. Dude, the pop Roman's gonna get when he comes out to have the face off with the Bloodline is gonna be so insane.
I wonder if you would rather have Heyman come out and introduce him, or if you would just
what way do you go? Both work. Both work.
It is going to work either way, but you would get a double pop because you'd have Heyman get
Heyman get a pop.
Yeah.
Because you hear his voice, and you instantly, the second you hear his voice, you know, oh my God, it's happening. So you're building up this energy. Then his music hits and he comes walking out. Oh, man.
Yeah. And he might go, what if he comes back with like a Shield music, like a theme song?
I don't know. I don't see that happening because I feel like they're super building to OG Bloodline versus New Bloodline in a Civil War.
That is
like
definitely
Bloodline Civil War seems like it's so obviously what they're building to.
I just worry about like when Cody's in matches and gets help from people. Like I feel like that damages it if he keeps getting assisted by people.
But he's done it without. He's done it without
he
too.
Has.
But when you're facing an opponent who just is going to have their guys get involved, then you are also going to have your guys involved.
Backup,
so I think that's why it's not that big a deal. And it also double makes sense because they're so deep in this Bloodline story. They've just got to keep it's almost exempt because it's the rules of the Bloodline story. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's just like, of course.
Everything's Bloodline rules.
Everything's Bloodline related and progresses that story. Yeah, but I think that story might have a year left in it, and that's it. You know, I think that the end game is they're going to have Roman come back with Jay and Jimmy and feud with the new guys. And if they need a fourth guy, I doubt it'll be Cody, but it may be Sammy.
That's
because
possible.
He was the other guy in the OG Bloodline that people loved. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they can pull on him as a callback to prior Bloodline storyline, and they love reoccurring story elements, and so do I. So
well, that's the thing. I just feel like there's a lot of ways it can go. So
there's a ton.
Like,
how's the Rock fit in? You know,
do
you have Rock come in and have it be Rock, Roman, and the Usos versus Solo, Jacob Fatu, and the Tonga guys?
That could be cool.
But either way, at this point, we're just fantasy booking the shit out of it. You know what I mean? I do think Roman comes back at SummerSlam because SummerSlam is it's like Mania, SummerSlam.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a halfway point thing.
Yep. It's not even really that much of a halfway point, though.
It just
because Mania is like April 1st.
It feels like Mania just happened, but
it does, yeah.
Then you got Bo Dallas showed up in Adam Pearce's office.
Oh yeah.
That was
2 weeks ago.
That was with let's see. The Rowan promo was this week, right? This past week?
Dude, that was tough.
So
that was a tough watch.
And then you had Chad Gable I love this, dude. So Chad Gable is all thinking he's all smart and shit, right?
That's the dude.
He's like, I figured it out.
Glad you said it.
He's like,
I figured out. He goes out on there. Oh, he's talking to the Alpha Academy guys, who are like, we're not helping you. Screw you.
He thinks he's gonna go out and reveal it to the entire WWE universe.
Who are they helping instead? Oh, Xavier.
Yeah.
And Xavier comes up and they're like, we're helping Xavier with the Karrion Kross and those guys.
Yeah.
And he's just like, but he, at first, Chad's like, guys, I cracked the code. Uncle Howdy is Bo. And they go, yeah, we know.
Yeah,
and he shrugs him off as, well, yeah, I've been telling everybody. That's why.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because of me, of course.
It's so good.
It's so funny.
That is so good.
And then when
he's like, I'm going to go call him out.
Pissed, Xavier's like, what the fuck? And he's just like, what is the deal with him? And they're just like, dude, don't even... It ain't even worth it. But then he goes out on stage and says, I solved the greatest mystery ever in WWE.
Yes.
And Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. Calls him out, and he instantly gets jumped. Dude, the pop that Bo got when he just comes.
Out.
No music.
He just
walks out and gets a mega pop.
Yep. And then he's like kind of overselling shit too,
and he's
which
laughing.
is cool because like they want to make Bo Dallas look weak, but they want Uncle Howdy to be the strong.
I don't even know if that's what they're doing.
That's what it looks like.
To me, the fact that he's laughing at everything is like a callback to Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Where he's laughing because he's going, beat me up all you want.
Wait it
till
doesn't
you see how this goes for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then he goes, "There you are," right?
Yeah.
And that shit
he's
was
trying
awesome.
to bring out the worst.
The real Chad Gable.
He's
you know what I'm
him
saying?
Out. Yeah, the real guy.
Yeah.
Who's really there? What are your
What's your real motive? And
And when he sees him, he screams, "There you are!" in his face, and Chad gets freaked out. It was just
so good, and that answers the question too. Like, are they going to do Bo Dallas in the ring?
Yeah,
and that is going to be a thing.
And the Eric Rowan promo shows they're probably going to do that with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
However,
yes, they're humanizing these characters. It's not completely supernatural.
They're both, and I love it.
Yeah, and they're making it not as supernatural. Like, it seems like they're almost playing it off as Howdy is messing with like connections and things like that. Like causing error, like glitches and things like that, not being necessarily supernatural.
He's not floating.
Yeah,
but
it's almost hackier than it is like fucking undead or some shit. You know,
that Eric Rowan promo was.
Oh yeah, it was.
That might have been the best of the series.
It was real, very real.
It was heartbreaking to see that because, like, one. Incredible work on his part, instantly elevates him because when have you ever seen him have a chance to talk like that, you know? And he crushed it. It's ultra huge 550-foot home run, just out of the park home run. And also it was just so painful, you know?
Yeah.
Like everything he said is real. He is the only living original member of the Brave Wyatt family, dude. That is so fucked, and they're not even that old. They're not even that old. They're like our age, and he's the only living one. And then, like the music that was playing during that was different. It was so good, so good. Yeah. It was almost like gothic church choir stuff
and he
happening.
Has sheet mask and all this stuff. And dude, I don't know, man. It was really, really good.
That was unbelievable.
And to have also it happen, it's like now they're showing two different segments that are Wyatt 6 related.
They showed 3. Because the first one was they cut to Pat's show where he was delivered the next VHS
they did show
tape.
that. I
so
forgot
there's
they showed
one.
That. Yeah.
Then they showed the Rowan video. And dude, you could tell. After they showed that, everybody in the crowd was like in tears and was all fucked up. And even Pat and Cole were just like, oh man. Like they were all shaken up, and they weren't even, you could tell they weren't even just shaken up because of like they have to be because it's the work of like the Wyatt 6 storyline progressing. They were legit just going whatever, dude. Like that's the mood we're going to, and it's like because they are going there with this stuff. That is what it's about. The whole point of the story is these guys all had a tie to Bray. And they all lost them.
Yeah.
And they've all been forgotten and lost in the shuffle. And Bray was going to save them and give their careers a lift and give their careers meaning. He was gonna form the Wyatt 6 anyways. And then he passed, you know?
Yeah. Which I mean, they all were. If you look at it, you're like, oh, okay. Like all these guys were just they were on the roster, but they weren't.
Yeah, but they're all floundering.
Yeah.
My curiosity is, do they do videos like that with the rest of them? Because we know how emotional it is and how real it is for Bo, and definitely for Eric.
But we don't necessarily know.
We don't know shit about the other guys. They could still do these.
They could.
And have a very good, well done reason why they're doing them. But what do we?
It's going to be much harder to do those than what we have now.
Are they all going to be heart wrenchers? I doubt it. You know what I mean?
No.
Like maybe Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Because she was like gearing up to like they were teasing the Wyatt Six. They were already doing it.
Yeah.
So like maybe they do all have.
It's possible. Yeah.
Archive
if they
footage and
do,
stuff.
then yeah, they'll do it that way. But I just think right now you've seen like the emotional ones, and it's hard for me to like. I think if they were gonna do every single one, I think they would ramp it up versus ramping it downward.
And they started with Bo. So
yeah,
how?
Yeah,
but they had to. I think they had to start with Bo because he's the Uncle Howdy character, and he's the closest tie to everything.
Sure,
he's the centerpiece of it, and they had to set the tone. Like, guys, this is going to be a different level, and man, have they done that and maintained it so far.
Yeah, I have no complaints at all.
It's been so good.
And I just don't know where. And every week you're just like, what is going to happen? It's very unpredictable.
Yep. And it's cool that it did end up being Chad as the first victim. And you can tell it's not victim. Yeah. It's like they're picking guys who lost sight of who they are or who aren't, who they can work that into the story. There you are. We're going to make you show us your true colors.
Yes.
It's for the world to see.
Yeah.
And I love that. So cool, man.
Yeah, this is very cool. So, and we talked about this before the show. I watched like a bunch of shit this week. I watched NXT. I watched TNA. I watched like the most recent episode. Mm-hmm. And then I also watched AEW. I watched Dynamite.
Now, was that like the 250th episode of Dynamite, or no? That was Rampage, right? That was the 250th.
Yeah, that would have been Rampage, I think.
Okay.
But like, honestly, I didn't have a complaint with any of this. It all seems like the competition's pretty good.
Yeah,
it's like not competition, I guess, but they're all good shows. So you can't.
Yeah, it's not hard fair to say they're not competition because they're not. WWE is just operating at a whole different level as far as their exposure, their global
playing field is not level.
It's not the same, but it's not the same.
What I do want to say is like
that's not the point either.
Anytime we talk about AEW on this show, it seems negative. But,
I try not to be,
but like
I'm just covering what I'm seeing.
I don't think any of these shows are at the point where like they're abysmal bad.
No.
You know what I'm saying? No. I don't have anything against any of these shows.
No,
TNA was really good to me. Like Impact was really good, I thought. Which is wild because like I don't remember Impact being good since like 2000.
Dude, they've got a sick roster right now, though.
Yeah,
really do.
It is really good. And so, but Joe Hendry, honestly,
he's my favorite dude over there right now. Yeah, he's so
unreal.
Good. They have other great guys. It's not to shit on them.
But he is a huge sensation right now.
He's a big deal.
He's fucking on every wrestling thread ever. You see the fucking him fucking turning.
yeah. Dude, NXT.
Yeah, he's showing up at like every NXT now. He's been there like 3 times.
Is it Ethan Page? Is that the guy's name? Just won the NXT title. Yep. After he won, they ended the show by showing Hendry doing the turn thing, and the crowd was like,
"He's fun too." Ethan Page is fun.
He's there, dude. NXT is sick right now.
Has been good.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah,
and that's important to know. Like, yes,
and I want to watch
criticize things about AEW sometimes.
Yeah,
but I think it comes off the wrong way. And I'll definitely be more careful about it because I don't hate AEW. I think there's a lot that's great about it.
Yeah.
I would prefer to just cover what's great about it instead of only focusing on what I think could be better. Because of course there's things that could be better.
We don't really get like bad reaction comment wise about us talking about AEW.
I'm aware of it, so I want to be careful with it, you know? Yeah, I don't like when other people do it with any of them. I don't like when I see AEW guys come out that don't watch WWE and then shit all over WWE. But then they get, anytime anybody says anything negative about AEW, they turn around and go, well, you're not watching AEW. It's like, but you're not watching WWE. Yeah, exactly. It's all a shit show. I hate all that stuff. I'm not worried about it.
What I'm saying is...
No.
It's like, I don't really want to talk bad about any shows until they're bad.
until they're actually
you know what I'm
bad.
saying? So,
We've seen actual bad.
Yeah.
We both lived through and were fans of wrestling in the demise of WCW.
Yeah.
When everything was on a pole.
NJPW is on Access TV too.
Really?
They're both on TNA and NJPW are on.
I think I knew that.
I don't know how to get Access TV.
The only way I had to watch New Japan, and again, I can't follow everything.
No, it's too much. It's just too much.
I can't even follow most stuff. I barely catch Raw and SmackDown, and I catch the Hulu ones. And then the rest of stuff, I try to keep as much in the know as I can online.
Yeah.
And then I'll go back and watch any key segments that happen, which honestly, it's like with AEW.
I'm going to watch a little more with the Toni Storm thing going on.
I mean, that's of all the stories they have going on, that's my favorite right now.
Yeah, and some of her stuff is a little bit cheesy, but
But it's on brand with the character.
Yeah, that's what the character is.
Yeah. The Mariah, what's her name? Mariah May? Is that the girl that was her sidekick? Yeah. Her turn was incredible.
Yeah,
dude.
It was pretty wild.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and good timing for it,
and
too.
Great feud. That is just such, that's going to be money, dude.
She's like a big deal over there.
She's the biggest deal in their division of women's wrestlers, in my opinion.
She's really good,
Toni Storm is the top of the heap for their women's division. Mercedes Moné, not as much.
No.
I think she just doesn't have the aura that it felt like she had WWE.
Something about it. She's not, she's not in it the same way.
It's not clicking, yeah.
I don't think she's as committed to it.
But her feud with Britt Baker could be exactly what she needs.
Yeah,
I
think part of it is she knows she has this reputation already, and she's riding.
She might be leaning into it, and we just haven't seen enough because it's so new. You know,
I think she's just riding the wave right now.
Either way, her and Britt Baker, that's the move.
Think about it; they have more influence over there. Over Toni, you know what I'm saying? They have more influence in their character and what happens to him.
Oh, yeah,
so I think she's
over Toni. I think my Toni Storm. I was like, what? No, Tony Khan over Toni. They have more influence.
Yeah, I think what's happening is she's kind of just pushing, like saying, "Hey, like
I want to do this. I'm gonna
look who I am." You know what I mean?
Yep.
Which is fine, I guess, but you gotta just be, you know, it's just flat right now.
Yeah,
her character's flat.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, and
It doesn't seem like there's a lot to it.
It's adjustable, though. They can fix that.
Yeah, of course.
It just takes time. I think eventually in time, like with everything, you know, we're going to see. We're going to see. And having her have a huge feud with somebody like Britt Baker coming back, that's a big deal. Because Britt's like one of the most over girls in all of AEW right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Toni's probably 1A, or at least in my opinion. I love what she's doing. They have a ton of good women's wrestlers over there.
Yeah, they do.
But Toni is like... just the character work and the storyline has been, it just goes to show when you have cohesive long-term storytelling that actually gets abided by, and it just crushes everything else.
And a character that kind of grabs you, and it grabs you in a weird way. That character does, right?
It does.
It's not like super. It's just like a different style.
Yeah,
it's not something
we haven't seen it in a long, like either ever or in ages. I can't think of somebody off the top of my head who's done that gimmick that well that way. I can't think of it.
No, I can't.
It's been amazing, man. Completely transformed her career.
Yeah.
Because she was great in NXT. Mm-hmm. She was really good. But, man, she's just on such a different level in AEW. It's not even funny.
Yeah, the gimmick's great.
And then as far as the guys, they've got, like, Ospreay just had that crazy match with MJF.
Yeah, and I, like, look at that match, and I'm like, oh, my God, what is going on? But they're not, like, dude, there was, like, an exchange at the beginning of the match, and I'm like, they did, like, one move. And then they flipped and like tumbled over each other for like a minute and a half.
It's not necessarily my style at all.
I was like, is that like what? Do we need that? Why are we doing gymnastics? It's
but the thing that Ospreay
it is so
does
much. It's so much skill, though.
Divisive, rather.
Well, yeah,
because there's a ton of skill required and a ton of athleticism.
Yeah, it's not easy.
But is it storytelling based wrestling? It's really tough to argue that it is.
Yeah.
But it's still incredible. And I won't discredit somebody who says that that's what they prefer.
Yeah.
Sure. You know.
Yeah.
Whatever. You know, it doesn't bother me that other people like it. And it doesn't bother me because the dude's a real guy. He seems legit. And he's super dedicated to what he does.
Yeah.
So, like, whatever, you know?
I just remember watching
MJF. I love, and that guy to me stands out because he shows he's working everybody else's styles. He's incredible,
MJF is
man.
awesome.
He's probably my favorite guy in all of AEW.
Yeah, he is really good. He's been that good for a while, too.
Yeah. Him and like Kenny Omega are probably my two favorite guys in all of AEW.
I really can't wait for him to come back.
Man, he's probably my favorite wrestler in AEW. He's probably my favorite wrestler ever outside of WWE that's never been in WWE.
He's up there.
He is so unbelievably good.
Mm-hmm.
So good, dude. And I hope he crushes diverticulitis and comes back better than ever.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to deal
with.
Lesnar had it.
Yeah,
Lesnar
and had a crazy run for years after it.
Lesnar had like a bunch of his intestines removed.
Yep, and that's what they're going to have to do probably with Kenny.
Christ.
He was saying he's going to have to be on a colostomy bag for like 6 months or something.
Jesus Christ.
But could eventually, as things heal, make a full recovery.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I hope he's good and I hope he comes back. He is just magical to watch in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
Okada is one of the best guys they have.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, they definitely have talent. It's not really.
Yep. And that's the thing with the Young Bucks too. Is like, a lot of people shit on them because they do a lot of super kicks and shit, and that stuff gets old. It just does get old. But then you see some of the other shit they do, and it's like their timing is so good. Yeah. They're so smooth in the ring.
Yeah,
they are incredible.
Like as a tag team, is one of the best.
They're one of the greatest tag teams ever. Yeah. It's not really up for debate.
Yeah.
But I understand.
The Hardys are back too. They just came back to TNA.
They're in TNA.
I think it was this week. Whatever. I missed it, but the one that aired. So the one I watched was from like July 11th or something.
Okay. Was that the one where Matt had a match with like Moose or something, and a bunch of people got involved?
Yes.
And then Jeff debuted and came back, and the crowd went wicked crazy.
That would be. No, that's the week before.
That was the one before. Okay, yeah.
And so I don't know. So Jeff is back, I guess.
Yeah.
According to what I saw on the
TNA. Frickin'
I'm gonna watch that.
Jordan Grace is ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
She's so good.
Well, there's a reason they sent her over to NXT. Yeah, and then,
she was.
And then Joe Hendry's been
good.
Hendry's been in NXT how many times?
Commentated on NXT, and he was hilarious.
Yeah, he's
great,
dude.
Good.
He's so good. That guy's a sensation.
Yeah,
man.
dude.
He's like, I don't know. He's like, I just wrote this song, and he like broke down how he wrote the song and shit. And then it's just his gimmick is just that he wrote a song,
and they're always so funny, dude. They're so good,
dude. He's fucking good.
But yeah, the point of that is just the wrestling in general across all the companies is debatably the best it's ever been right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so good.
Yeah, it really is it's pretty good everywhere.
Yeah.
But man, WWE is just like fucking soaring right now.
It's never been better.
Coasting.
And I keep saying it, and I keep seeing things in comment sections and in discussions and forums and stuff, people saying how the Attitude Era is the best ever. And it's like, it's getting impossible to argue this isn't the best. This is the best era of all time. It's just impossible to argue now. Mm-hmm. The amount of guys they have that are company carrying level guys ready to do it, and they're all carrying it. And the storytelling has never been better.
Yeah.
The characters have never been better. The matches have never been better.
In the Attitude Era, you'd have like a tag match, a good cruiserweight match, and then like a good
broad panties match.
But then, you'd have like the Godfather or some shit in the middle, and it's like just kind of
10-minute entrance with hose.
Yeah.
In a 1-minute match, and then
talk about the city that he's in or whatever, and it's like okay.
And then eventually he started coming out where he would come out alone and get a pop and then a boo because he didn't have the hose with him.
Then
he would one by one introduce all his hose and get like some.
And then just the hose are over. And he's not.
Super over. So like it was a lot of fun and it was wild in the Attitude Era. And in the Attitude Era, they were doing box office numbers. They were doing big numbers.
It
was like the first time they ever got to those level of heights, because in the Hogan era was the first time it really broke through into mainstream.
Yeah.
But the Attitude Era was the first time it did it since, and it went even bigger. This is the first time it's been a new groundbreaking global era.
Back then, they understood they had to go edgy.
Yes.
You know, because that was what WCW
and
was.
Now they
them.
don't have to go edgy.
Yeah.
But
they're going to. Partially. Are gonna. Yeah.
I don't, but I bet they don't. I bet they don't go as edgy as people
but I think
thinking.
they're going to know when to do it.
That's right. They're going to have the ability and the freedom to be able to use it sparingly and make it matter instead of having to go ratings.
Right. It's not about, they don't, it's not what it is. They're already winning everything.
Yeah.
They don't need to worry
by
about
a
that.
mile.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, obviously they want to make money, but they're going to be consistent.
And that's another thing, too, that's worth bringing up is a lot of people try to shit on WWE and say, oh, they're not even doing that crazy of numbers compared to AEW and stuff. It's like they are handily dominating in all metrics.
They are, though.
Period.
Yeah.
They are. Having said that, it's not like AEW's numbers suck.
No.
They're still doing 400 to 500,000.
They're fucking really good
every
for
episode.
A wrestling TV show.
Yeah, especially with Cable dying.
How do you think that? Yeah, they're
you
on.
Can't. It's not to say that AEW or TNA for that matter are doing badass companies. They're all on the upswing.
That show wouldn't be on a cable network like that.
It's just tough for AEW because we remember what it felt like when it started and it was so huge and they were doing $1 million deals and stuff, you know?
Yeah, it was a breakout, brand new promotion.
Yeah.
It had,
and it
had stars.
It has been in a lull for a bit, coming down off of the high of when it was brand new.
Sure.
It has. But you can see clearly the changes they're making and the things they're trying, new things and all these adjustments to correct the ship.
You know, you had you took big hits when Punk left, Cody left.
And then they went, you know what the best thing we could do for business is? Let's show the footage of a guy that's not in our company not being the bad guy we think he is.
Yeah.
That was like the lowest point.
And what they needed to do was step up and build some stars. In the wake
just ignore it and go, no, we're just moving forward, brother.
It didn't feel like they built stars. They just pushed the guys that were already there.
Yeah, exactly.
I felt like that's kind of a WCW thing to do too, you know?
It is, yeah.
But that was my wrestling week. I watched a lot of wrestling.
Hell yeah, man. It's a great time to do it. And I wanna try to make the time to watch more. It's just so tough with
I could take more notes.
What else I have going on,
have way more things to talk about, but we already go for an hour with
exactly.
I mean, I only had fucking 6 or 7 things jotted down.
Yeah, and it's already over an hour.
And you know, sometimes that's from Raw the week before because we do every 2 weeks.
Sometimes we start by talking about one episode of Raw and it swallows an hour because there's so much going on, so much big story moments, and then we're looking at it going, fuck, man,
basically
we didn't talk about anything else.
Yeah.
That's why I liked this episode because we covered all the WWE stuff as much as we needed to and then still had to go, hey, here's what's going on in the other stuff too. That's good. You know?
I think I mean, I don't think anybody should not check out other stuff.
Oh,
it's always
I'll never say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll never say that. I want everybody to check out as much as they want or can. Yeah. You know?
Yeah. All right. That's an hour, a little over an hour.
A little over an hour, yeah. Always flies by, man.
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
It's always going to. You know, you do fucking every 2 weeks.
I know.
And then
if we switch to doing 2 hours because we're trying to get in more coverage, that's going to whip by and we're going to go, fuck, only 2 hours?
Yeah.
So it's like you can't win. We're just doing as much as we can.
Yeah.
We're doing as much as we can right now. And as we become able to, we'll do more, you know?
And we've got possibly some guests planned too. So
we're looking into that. That'll be cool. And those can be extra episodes too.
We could do that too, yeah.
Yeah. We'll see. We're going to figure out what we want to do, but this train's just getting moving, man.
Yeah.
We aren't stopping anytime soon, and we love doing this, and we are making adjustments every week.
Yeah.
We're making adjustments.
And keep telling us how wrong we are, dude.
We love the engagement in the comments. We want people to discuss with us. This is for everyone.
That we have no idea what we're talking about.
When people come in the comments and they tell us whatever. Tell us we're stupid. Tell us we couldn't be farther from it. And then tell us why, though. And give us what you
they're not
think.
going to tell us why.
I know they're not. They're just going to tell us we're fucking stupid and we're trash. Yep. And that's fine. Swing away. We don't give a fuck. Having said that, we couldn't want the discussion more. We love talking about the stuff, and we will talk about it in the comments if prompted. We love that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, absolutely. So, yeah, that's it. We are also partnered with Dubby. This is an energy drink. It's a powder energy drink. I use it all the time. Go to dubby.gg. Use our promo code CLEARSHOTS, and you'll get 10% off.
I haven't tried this one. I got to try this.
Mango, it's pretty good. Honestly, they sent me that one. I didn't think I was going to like it. And I actually like have grown on it.
Dude, mango? Are you kidding me?
Every day I drink it now.
I gotta grab one of those.
Yep.
This stuff's great.
I'll see if I can get them for you.
Hell yeah.
Let's
do it.
We'll see you guys in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.